This is Vader Reviews. We are honored that you would join us for my very first episode of Vader Plays. You know, bringing order to the galaxy, reviewing films each week, and producing our very own Star Wars fan film can be pretty stressful. So I decided to change things up a bit this weekend because I heard gaming videos are all the rage with the younglings these days. And seeing as how it's one of my personal favorite Star Wars games of all time, let's kick things off with the 1996 Player's Choice Award recipient, Shadows of the Empire, for the Nintendo 64. And here we go. Shadows of the Empire. Still one of my all-time favorite Star Wars games. Let's see, let me select the right game here. Okay, what do I want to play? Golf Spaceport, Mr. Prosen, Shizo's Palace. I hate that guy. I thought I beat Skyhook. Maybe that was on a different game. Should I start at the Battle of Hoth? No, I'm gonna start at the Escape from Echo Base. That was always one of my personal favorite levels here. Let's see. Okay. Just skip through this. No one cares what you have to say, Lebo. I'm sorry, but you're just a droid. I don't care what the new films say. Here we go. You see this? Right here. This is why I love the old LucasArts games. You'd just be walking around, and you'd never know when an iconic vessel like the Millennium Falcon or a Lander-class shuttle would just go flying by. Although this does beg to question, where am I? In the film, when the Millennium Falcon escapes from Echo Base, I'm right there watching it happen. So, I don't know, maybe they just forgot I was supposed to be there. Let's see. I always liked the Snowtroopers. They made me think of Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe. I know Noah Dingley also has a special fondness for Snowtroopers, so let's just hope none of these guys are TK-154. Let's see, Medical Bay. I'll just pick up this challenge point. Oh, and just for all you kids watching who may wonder, those items swirling around, those are health pickups. Because back in the day, you couldn't just hide like a little punk and wait for your health to regenerate if you were getting shot. There were no regenerations, so you had to pick up health items. And if there were none around, you either died or you just had to play better. I'm gonna get these rockets here, but I'm just gonna boogie right now so these guys can fight it out among themselves. Let's see. Okay. It has kind of a semi-auto aiming feature. It's kind of hard to hit this turret. It's not a full auto aim, but it just kind of throws me off sometimes. There we go. Okay, they're probably dead by now, so I can, Oh, it sounds like they're still fighting. Oh, well, they won't notice me if they're... Oh, what the crap! Okay. These guys used to scare the crap out of me as a kid. I think it's because they just keep coming no matter how much you shoot them. Why won't you die? There we go. Right about now, I wish I had a lightsaber. Let's see, these other guys are probably fighting. Oh, you know what? Forget it. Just forget it. We're gonna just move on. I'll get some rockets somewhere else. Stinker hiding around the corner. You know, back in the day, enemy placement was essential for a game. Because the AI wasn't advanced enough, so they'd always hide guys around corners to shoot you. Interestingly, John Knowles, who was one of the effects supervisors on the prequels, he was the director of this game. He was also head of the art department and the lead animator, so his fingerprints are all over this title. He has an impressive resume of Star Wars games. Those are pretty wizards seeing a probe droid. They're kind of hard to hit sometimes, though, with wonky aiming system. But, there we go. Ah. Come on. I'm just gonna cross the bridge and shoot him, I think. Can't seem to hit him. There we go. I always love hearing the Wilhelm scream. You know, back in the day, when I was a kid, when we played this game, we had the contrast set wrong on our television. So going through this ice tunnel, it was pitch black. We couldn't see where we were going. So we just stumbled through the dark, and we eventually started shooting the walls so we could stumble through and kind of find our way out the other end. Turns out we just had the contrast set wrong on our TV the whole time. There we go. I was hoping that guy would fall. If he falls off the ledge, he does the scream too. Let's see here. You know, you gotta wonder, how cold is Dash Rendar right now? I mean, the dude's running around in a sleeveless shirt in a base with ice walls. This guy's gotta be freezing his butt off. I hate ice. It's cold, wet, and irritating. And it gets everywhere. Let's see. Oh, he fell, but he didn't scream. I feel gypped now. I'm almost done with the first half of this level. I never understood why this wasn't 2 stages, but it was quite an accomplishment getting to this elevator as a kid. Took us a long time to beat this one. Let's try spinning, that's a good trick. I don't know why I always spun around when I was in that elevator. Interestingly, the piece of music that plays on the title screen was not in fact composed for this game. It was unused music for episode 5. But since they never used it, they figured, hey, why put John Williams' music to waste? They actually approached him to score this game, but unfortunately he turned them down. Because back in the day, scoring a video game wasn't as prestigious as it is today. But good old Johnny, he recommended Joe McNeely to score the game. And while you're not hearing it here, he has some pieces of music he composed for this game later on, and they're quite good. They fit into the Star Wars universe nicely. And I gotta say, being recommended personally by John Williams is some pretty high praise. Nintendo legend Shigeru Miyamoto actually offered feedback on this game while they were producing it. They had intended it to be more of a first-person shooter, but he suggested that it would be a more immersive gaming experience if they had the camera behind Dash Rendar. He described it as if the camera was attached to a hot air balloon tied to the back of Rendar, so it would smoothly follow him through the environment as people played the game. And I gotta say, his suggestion paid off, because it's pretty wizard. Once again, Mr. Miyamoto saves the day. It's kind of funny though, because while they were developing this game, the Nintendo 64 hadn't been released yet. It was still in development. So Nintendo wouldn't let LucasArts see the controller, because they didn't want a rival company stealing their ideas, or their iconic 3-pronged design. So as a result, they hid the controller in a box. So LucasArts employees had to reach into a box to test the game. Still seems like they would have found out what it looked like by feeling the shape, but whatever. Because they had to try to keep it secret and keep it safe. I always wanted to see the movie clips for this game. The PC version had movie clips, but the 64 couldn't handle the audio and video. John Wagner and Gillian Plunkett, they were responsible for the comic book adaptation of Shadows of the Empire. I've made a review of that storyline, which I'll leave a link to that in the description. If you're curious about Shadows of the Empire and would like to learn more about the storyline, I highly recommend this video. But speaking of the PC version, though, Bob Bergen did the voice of Luke Skywalker in the PC version. Rogue Squadron and Jedi Outcast fans will recognize him as the voice of Luke in those games as well, so he kinda lucked out being cast in this game, because it would ensure his career as Luke Skywalker for some time. And here we are, one of the main reasons I love this game. The boss levels are totally wizard. If you've seen my list of top 10 Star Wars vehicles, you know the AT-ST was my top choice. I'll leave a link to that video as well in the description. I know I just blew the #1 ship on the list, but still, if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's pretty wizard. The overall story for Shadows of the Empire was written by George Lucas. There was a novel by, let me see, who was the novel by? I think it was Steve Perry, if I remember correctly. But I know for sure that Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan wrote a screenplay, but unfortunately it was never turned into a film. I would have loved to see that. But the whole multimedia blitz for Shadows of the Empire, including books and toys and games, was used so George Lucas could fund the special edition of Star Wars and even the Star Wars prequels. But I still wish we could have gotten a movie about it. Seeing Dash Rendar on the big screen would be totally wizard. Speaking of Star Wars movies, though, we're working hard on our fan film project, and I will be updating you further next weekend, so be on the lookout for that. We're almost done with this here. Oh, it took that guy a long time to host me. Okay, I think there's 2 more. Yep, here we go. Once I take out these 2 little turds, the level's pretty much over, so... And... here we go. The next level is a chase through an asteroid field, much like Episode 5, but we won't play that for now. Well, that was fun. You guys, let me know if you would like to see any more of these gaming videos. If you'd like to see more of this game in particular, or just more gaming videos in general. I would like to focus on mainly Star Wars games until I run out of those, and then I'll branch out into other games, if that's something you'd like to see. Comment below and let me know. But we also have a PayPal attached to this channel, and we greatly need your support. Your donations would be greatly appreciated. A link is in the description. We had a little bit of a mishap with one of our props we're going to be using for the fan film, and we are replacing it. And while this happens all the time for larger productions, due to our limited budget, we can really use your help to replace this. So please consider donating today and become a hero of the Empire. But this video is going on pretty long, so thanks for sticking around as this old cyborg took a trip down memory lane playing Shadows of the Empire. Let me know, like I said, if you'd like to see more gaming videos like this, and specifically, if you'd like to see more from Shadows of the Empire. This has been Vader Reviews, and always remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.